What's up, soldiers? Your boy Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com vibes, and up in the kitchen as usual. Just came back in from the grocery store, and your boy catch a glad. I live in southern Ontario, which is very far from the tropics. So you think apple, grapes, pears, raspberry, strawberry, all them kind of thing like that. You don't really necessarily think guavas, or you may say guava. I passed through the grocery store there. Yep, there was an assortment of guavas over there. Not only that, and here's where the sort of catch a glad thing come into play. They were all on sale. Suffice to say, they all came home with me. Sorry if you passed later, you didn't get any. But we're doing a Guava Jam. First off, a little bit different than what my mom or grandmom or whoever would make, because we're doing things a little bit differently here on CaribbeanPod.com. And later on you're going to notice that I only use 2 cups of sugar. You'll need more sugar. Personally, I'm cutting back on the amount of sugar I use. So be mindful of that. Guava Jam, not so traditional, but so good. Vibes it up, man. In the sink, I have all the guavas. And don't worry too much if there's some blemishes and stuff like that. But anyone that is totally gone bad like that, that's the one you want to discard, because you really can't save this. I remember as a kid growing up, our job was every morning when we wanted Guava Jam, every morning during guava season, we would go under the tree in the morning and pick up all the ripe ones and use those. So there would be some with blemishes and stuff like that. And all I'm doing here is, I'll show you what I'm doing, is trimming off the sort of stem on the top. Any sort of blemishes, I'll remove those as well as the bottom part, and then I'll just cut it in quarters. And I have a bowl over here that I'm keeping them in, so you can see that here. So that's basically all you want to do. Remove the stem, remove the sort of bottom part, and cut them into quarters. Ooh, this one is a bit hard. What? Well, that is getting cooked down, so we don't have to worry too much about that. I've got 2 cups of water on a medium-high flame in a deep saucepan here. And this is where we're going to go on with all the sort of cleaned and chopped guava. Just going to put that in my pot here. Want to bring that up to a boil. I'm going to top it off with another cup, so 3 cups of water in total. The exact ingredients that I use will be mentioned down in the description of this video, as well as on CaribbeanPod.com. But I believe there were about 34 of these small guavas. The other ingredient I like going in here with at this point too is 2 slices of ginger. And we're going to bring that up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce it to a simmer. As it comes up to a boil, remove the lid. I'm just going to give it a quick stir because I want to move everything around to get that ginger working in there. And the whole idea here is to make this tender so that we can either crush it or blend it to get that nice pure guava taste and pulp and everything out of it. I'm going to turn my heat down to low and let that go gently simmering away. It's been about 25 minutes or so, and it's nice and soft now. Got all that nice. The entire kitchen should have that rich scent of guava at this point. I'm going to turn my heat off, and I'll go in with my stick blender, and you really want to pulse this to get it nice and smooth. And if you want, you can allow it to cool down a bit and put it into your blender, or if you have an old school swizzle stick or potato masher, you can do pretty much the same thing. I noticed that it's really thick, so I'm going to go in with another cup of hot water in there. Next up, we want to strain all that pulp. Got a little bit of dirt on this one here. There we go. I'm going to strain that pulp into a clean bowl. So we're going to take all that, strain it in here to get all that sort of grit and the seeds and everything out of it. And you may want to allow this to cool down a bit first before you do this. And using a wooden spoon, I'm just going to work this and let all that nice pulp fall in there. The funny thing is, as kids growing up on the islands, the guavas that we usually had were red on the inside, not this white sort of color. So what I may do, just to sort of mimic the same sort of color that I'm accustomed to, is put a couple drops of red food coloring in here. Now that is totally optional. It is just a visual thing for me. So back in with all that pulp into a clean pot. And here is where we're going to start actually making the jam now. So it's a matter of sugar and bringing it nice and sweet to your own liking. Now it's a matter of adding the sugar, as I said, and I'm going in with 2 cups of granulated sugar here. Let's start that one now. Multitasking people. Doing a second video on the side here, that's the little mumble that you heard. But you can add more sugar if you wanted to this. For me, I don't like my jam overly sweet, which is rather strange for someone coming from the Caribbean. Caribbean people love this sweetness. Maybe that's why we're so sweet. Just going to bring that back up to a gentle simmer, just to melt all that sugar and to really bring out that guava taste. Now I did say when I was growing up on the islands, guava jam was supposed to have a sort of a pink or a red color. This is not required. However, for old time's sake, I'm going in with a couple drops of red food coloring, just to give it that color that I'm accustomed to, you know. Just going to stir that around. As it starts coming up to a boil there, I'm going to go in with some pectin. Now, this is something my mom never used. I don't ever recall her having to use pectin. However, I want this to set really fast and get that sort of jam consistency that we're looking for. And here's the thing, guys. I would recommend using a whisk at this point to really whisk that pectin in there. And continue moving it as it cooks because of all the sugars in here now. Because that guava... Did I just say guava? Wow, that's rather North American of me. That guava will have its own natural sugars as well, so it will have tendency to want to stick to the bottom of this. I'm going to use the entire pack of pectin. Again, full ingredients will be listed on CaribbeanPod.com. In the meanwhile, what you can be doing is sterilizing whatever container you're going to be using to store this jam. This jam is just going in the fridge once it cools down for me. Just turn my stove off. It's nice and smooth now. I can tell that sugar has melted in there and it is ready to sort of set with that pectin that we put in there. So this is where I would recommend pouring it into whatever container you're going to be storing it in and let it set up. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. A sort of a different take on traditional guava jam, but or jelly, whatever you want to call it, but none the same. Takes me back, boy. Wow. Some crackers and jam, bread and jam, roti and jam. Or if you're wicked like me and my brother, jam and jam. We would always steal this and eat it. Chris here. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Remember to click subscribe and to check out CaribbeanPod.com for over 450 different Caribbean style recipes.